So the Ben Ish Chai, Alav Shalom, in Parashat Lech Lecha, he says, you know, the pasuk says, "V'Avram zaken, v'Avram kaved meod b'mikneh b'kesef u'v'zahav." And Abraham was heavy in cattle, in gold and silver. He was heavy in the day. So says the Ben Ish Chai, this is exactly the opposite of what we know of Avraham Avinu. Avraham was very light-hearted, very quick to do things, the first one in the morning, the first one to respond to a call. So what is it about Avraham Avinu, kaved meod? Why do they say that he's kaved? That's exactly the opposite of what we know about Avraham. And he says over there that Avraham was very light and very quick to do things that are mitzvot. To respond to a call of Hashem, he did it right away with zealousness, no problem. But when it came to dvarim shel ha'olam hazeh, of gashmiut, things that are of earthly matters, kesef, bikneh, zahav, for him, he was heavy with that. And he also explains the pasuk that the David HaMelech says in Tehillim, Chashti velo itma'amati lishmor mitzvotecha. He says, I was very quick and I never delayed myself to observe and keep your mitzvot. But chashti velo itma'amati is the same. To go quickly and not to be delayed is the same thing. So he says, you know, when you're running somewhere and you're running, maybe you need to run 2 blocks to get somewhere very quickly. When you get into the house, you can't keep running. You have to sit. You can't run anymore. Or if you took a long sprint or a marathon run, you get tired after a little while. So you run and then you slow down. But he says a person that has rizut, which means the ability, like zealousness for mitzvot, even when they get to their destination, they're still quick about doing things. Meaning they run for 2 blocks, and then when they get to where they need, they're still quick about what they're doing. Says David HaMelech, I run to do the mitzvot, but even when I get to the location, I'm not delayed, I'm not sluggish, rather I apply zerizut, I apply quickness even when I get to the place. And he says over there that that's a person that has the drive to do Hashem's will, that you can see that about how they behave towards their mitzvot. He also says something very nice, that there's a midrash that Shlomo HaMelech speaks about a person that is passionate about doing mitzvot, and he says that the atzed, a person that is sluggish or lazy in doing mitzvot, there's certain things that people tell him, Rabcha Ba'ir, your rabbi's in the city, go to shiur, go learn Torah, and he says, I'm mityareh ani min ha'ari shebaderech, maybe there's some wild animals, lions in the way, and then they tell him, okay, he's not baderech, he's even inside the neighborhood. I'm still scared that maybe he's in the street, maybe there's coyotes outside. And they say, he's not in this, he's inside the building. I don't know, maybe there's a problem. He's in the house right here, he's right over here. And he's like, I don't know, maybe if I go to the next door, it's going to be locked. I don't know if it's open, it's locked. He's in the same room. He's like, I'm tired. And then he says over here, something amazing that is really, he says over here, Ad matai atzel tishkav matai takum mishenatecha. He says, Natnu lefanav le'echol mitatzel latet letoch piv. It's really like what we see in our generation. Like, even if you put food in somebody that just doesn't want to live, or doesn't want to work, or doesn't want to move themselves, you put the food right here, they can't even put it in their mouth. You know, they have something going on today that people wear diapers because they play video games and they can't go to the bathroom because they're scared to lose the video. Did you hear about this? There's something going on. They wear diapers. These 20, 30, 40-year-old people, they wear diapers because they can't go to the bathroom and they're scared to lose the video game. So he says over here, so they can't even put the food in their mouth. Says the Ben Ish Chai, that's all very nice, but you know what it's talking about? On a deeper level? He says back in the day, you know, you have Torah shebichtav and Torah shebe'al peh. Yeah? Torah shebichtav and Torah shebe'al peh. Back in the day, Torah shebichtav is written. Torah shebe'al peh is be'al peh, it's by heart. So it was harder maybe to attain or know or get information about what is the Mishnah, what exactly is the Mishnah. You have to remember it and you have to learn about it. But today, it's written down. Whatever happened. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi decided to write it down. Right? He wrote it down. And he says over here that when the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Torah shebe'al peh is written down today, it's almost like the food that's in front of us. All we have to do is eat it. Right? He says it's the same thing. So by us taking a Mishnah, taking Halakha, taking Talmud, taking any shiur, taking anything that's accessible, it's such a blessing and it's so accessible. in comparison to the food that's right in front of us, all we have to do is just take the spoon and eat it or whatever. So he says that's the biggest blessing that we have today, that it's right there in front of us, and we could learn more of that. A very quick halacha that he brings over there. We have to prepare for Shabbat. Not only keeping and observing Shabbat is a mitzvah, but preparing for Shabbat is also a mitzvah. The Ben Ish Chai holds that there's a certain special element in preparing something on Friday. I know we like to prepare long before Friday, so we don't have a rush, or we don't have a problem, and we don't run out of time. But there's an element of preparation on Friday itself that has a big segula and a big mitzvah. So we should try to do as much as we can on Friday, at least maybe baking bread or doing something like that. And he says himself and also his father, even though they prepare in the morning on Friday, they left a little something just before going to synagogue also to prepare. It's also like a zechut, something like just before, like a little something before.